Okay, so again, we're doing HTML today. And again, if you look up here at the top in Dreamweaver, you notice there's a little asterisk right here. It says Untitled 1 because we haven't saved it yet. And that's another way you can tell it's not been saved, is a little asterisk right there. But if we go under File, in Dreamweaver, you go under File, Save As, we can save our file. So I'm going to go File, Save As. And then you need to open up so that you get access to all the files here. So if you notice in the save window, it's a standard save window like you would have in any Macintosh computer. If you click on the little arrow that's up here in the upper corner, it allows you to open and close so you can see more and surf through. And I'm going to go to the desktop, which is right here. See where it says desktop? And I'm going to make a folder with my name on it. See it right here? There's a folder. So again, I'm going to hit desktop right here, and I'm going to make a folder right here. And I'm going to call it, this is my web development. How about I put my name, Jeff Raskoff, web development. So I'm going to give it a name. Okay, how about that? That's a good folder name, right? So I made a folder right here. Hit create, and then of course the first name is going to be, for your website, is index, I-N-D-E-X, index. And leave the HTML on there. Okay, leave the HTML on there. So I'm going to save that. The next file I'm going to make is the one that you see on the back side. It's the CSS file. And you don't need to turn it over yet, but I'm going to make the CSS. Notice how in this handout it's called styles with an S.css. So that in the HTML, if you look under the code there where there's a link, it says link rel equals style sheet, type equals text / CSS, href is a link equals styles. So again, before I do that, I'm going to make it. To make that CSS file, I'm going to go under File, New again, File, New, and I'm going to go to where it says CSS right here, CSS. And I'm going to then save that as well. Notice it says Untitled 2 here. I'm going to save that. Again, I'm going to go under File, Save As, File, Save As. And this time, again, it's styles with an S-T-E, styles? S-T, I spell styles. S-T-Y-L-E-S .css. Make sure it's going into the same folder next to this so we don't have to designate where things are at. And we have it saved. So again, you have two types of files. You got an HTML file and a CSS file. You have two files. I'm going to go back to the HTML file and I'm going to link to it. So that link that you see there is in front of the head section here. So if you look at the head, the / head, I'm going to click my cursor after title and I'm going to hit return to give you some space. Notice how it indents a little bit. That's okay. It's doing the indentation. Helps you look at the code because it's indented a little bit. Helps you view it. And again, I'm going to link to it. Again, it's link space rel equals, and then make sure you put a quote in there, and then put style sheet. Notice how it has hints that pop up, right? Hints. So you can double click on that and it'll put it in there for you. And then type equals, and then you'll notice it put the text in there, and then hit space again, and then there's href equals, and make sure you get that right, href. I sometimes, dyslexic me, I sometimes put H-E-R-F. I mean, I do that misspell, but be very careful. And so to link to something, notice it has quotes around it as well, and I'm going to link to that style sheet, this one right here, and you'll notice it should pop up. If you don't, you can type it in. What is that doing again is that you're going to separate the CSS file or the cascading style sheet from the HTML so that you can have multiple HTML files linked to one CSS file, so that it helps you manage your code. Everybody got that? Yes?
What does the REL attribute
I think it's telling it what format it's in. I think it's a formatting, CSS format. Like JavaScript, you would have JavaScript in quotes. So I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I don't know why it's REL. Don't know. Let's move on to the head. Now, everything that's viewable on the screen is in the body. So if we go down to body, I'm going to type in the HTML that's there. I'm going to type it all in. I'm going to type it. We'll talk as I type it in, but I'm going to type everything in today. Last class we didn't do everything. I'm going to do everything today. So again, remember a box is a div. So you can think of a div as a box of content. So the first one is the container. Remember I messed that up last time where I skipped on to the header already, but it's div ID designate. It's the name of the box. What is the name of the box? Well, the first one is the container. Remember the container is the main box of the whole web page. So it's like a giant box around everything, hence the word container. It's like a box. And don't forget the closing chevron here. And notice it gives you a closing div automatically. Now you want that closing div to be all the way at the bottom, so because it's the box that contains everything. So all the other stuff needs to be inside that. So if you look, you want to put that down. In fact, I'm going to move it down a little bit like that so there's space in there. Notice this div, this closing div, when you have a / closing div, you want it to be down here next to this because everything else is going inside. Everything else is inside the container there. Right, so this closing div put at the bottom. Next I'm going to go and do the other one. Notice how it indents a little bit more even. And I'm going to make another div. Remember this is the box at the top. Remember we drew this on the board last time and I said, oh, the header is at the top. So the header. And these words are made up. I know it looks at them and you think that it's, and then of course there is a closing div for the header. You can leave it right underneath there for now. We'll put something in there eventually. Let me move this up a little bit here. So we got a closing head, just like it's written there in the box. The next one is going to be the left box. And so we have a div ID equals, and then we have one for left box. Oops, there's a capital B in there. Do you see that? I don't know why we have a capital B, but I'm going to put it in there because that's the way it's written. So be careful. This is case sensitive. When you name things, it's case sensitive. Now you notice that there is a BR break in the left box. Okay, and there, notice there's a P as well. Do you see the P? So I'm going to move this div down, the closing div, and you're going to make some space down there. Let me move these around a little bit. Because there's going to be content that goes inside there. So anything, so we didn't put any content in the header, as you can see there. There's no content. If there was going to be content in the header, we will put it in here. It would be there. So if you wanted text to be in the header, you would put it in there. But right now, there's only stuff in the left box, as you can see written there. So I'm going to go and put that in. The P stands for what? What does P stand for? Paragraph. Okay, so it's a paragraph. So I'm going to put, we put some text in there. How about we put in, we love stud finders. How about that? With an S. Because we love stud finders. Next, you'll notice there's one that says BR there. So there's two types of breaks inside of HTML. Just like in word processing, there's two types of breaks in word processing. You ever use Microsoft Word? When you hit return in Microsoft Word, it makes a paragraph break. If you hold the shift key down and hit return in Microsoft Word, it makes a line break. So the BR there is a line break. Do you see that right there in the code right there? That is an actual line break right there. So if I type in BR as you see it written there, that's a line break, and the P is a paragraph break. What is the difference? Well, one is a little bit more space than the other. Just like in Microsoft Word, when you do that line break and paragraph break, it's the same. Next, after that BR that you see there, there's a button. Okay, there's a div space class equals button, like that. And then closing chevron there, and again there's a closing div. Now this one's a link. Notice it has an A there. A is for a link. A actually stands for anchor. That's what the A stands for. It's actually anchor. That's why it's an A. And if we type in an A, you'll notice that there is a href there. That's a reference to a location, and that location in this case is going to be in quotes, and they want you to go to Yahoo. So if you notice, you go HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is what HTTP stands for. And then we put in a colon, / / and www.yahoo.com. So that's a standard link right there. Now you'll notice there's something called target blank, and that's outside the quotes. What does the target blank do? The target blank opens the window up in a new window that's above. You ever notice when you're surfing the internet, sometimes you click on it and it opens a new tab, right? a new window, you can. So that's what the target blank is. It's actually when you click on it, it opens a new tab or a new window. In fact, there is one called new window that forces it a new window. But this one where it says target blank, that opens in a new tab. So if you look down there, right there where it's after the Yahoo, make sure it's after the quote, and then type in target, T-A-R-G-E-T, target equals, and notice there's an underscore. There's an underscore blank. Do you see that? Underscore blank. Now that's just the code for the screen. That's nothing visible on the screen. So you need to have something visible on the screen. And notice right there, you have to put some text in there. So there's a closing A tag right there. Do you see that? So we're going to put in the word Yahoo. All capital letters, as you can see, Yahoo. So again, this is a link. Href is the reference to where am I linking to. You got to equal, and then you have a quote. And then you have the link to the website, which starts with http://www. And let's look at some of the other links we can do. Yes?
What's the difference between the A tag and the link tag?
Link tag?
We've used the link.
The link is for something that's internal. So we're going to pull something. The one at the top, you mean?
Yeah.
The link up there, that's the one that you were pulling that in. And I don't have a closing chevron on that, don't I? I never finished that, did I? Whoosh. Yeah, I saw an error. Look at that. There's an error there. Because we're linking to an internal file that's next to me, right? It's internal, where this is outside the world, outside the internet. Let's talk about other links. So you'll notice here, let's look, href equals, and you see the address here, right? What if you wanted to go to somebody's email instead of to a web address? It's mail to, so you can put a link in it. MAILTO : and then the person's email address. Mail to MAILTO : and what if somebody's on a cell phone and you want them when they touch it to dial the number automatically? TEL : and then the person's telephone number. Like on a computer, it might not dial. Unless you have like a computer that can dial out, maybe. So if you wanted to make a link, you would do the same thing here, but instead of the web address in there, you put TEL : and then the person's phone number in quotes. And on their phone, and the person touches it, boom, it automatically dials. Hello? Okay, so you got mail to, telephone. Maybe we'll do that later, I don't know. Let's continue following the handout here. Okay, so where were we at? We have a close. Let's make sure we know our closing divs. This div goes with this one. Notice how when I click on the closing div, it tells you which one goes with which. This is the left box. This is the closing div. Next is the right box. So the right box, we want to be outside the left box, so it's going to be after this one. Do you see that? So see this one with the left box? This is the closing div for this left box. So if you look down there, the right box needs to be outside of that. So notice how it's down 2 divs, 2 closing divs. Why is it down 2 closing divs? Because this div goes with the button. This div goes with the left box. So for the right box, it's going to be under that div right there. Under this one, just like it is in the handout there, and you're going to make another div. Remember, a div is a box. There's going to be a div ID equals, and notice it is a capital B as well. Right box, like that. And don't forget your closing there. And notice it makes it automatically closing div for you. And then we're going to put some more text in this side. Let's put some text in. This is a leak alert. That's another one of my products. X. My new product's called Leak Alert X. There we go. Oh, that's in a P tag too. Do you see that? P tag. So we're going to put a P tag in there. Like that. And then, uh-oh, it's outside the closing. What if I need this to be outside? Can I move it, highlight it, and drag it? Oh, I did. Did you see that? So again, just like it is there, put some dummy text it says. And then there's a BR break and a closing. But we don't need those BR breaks. We'll add more stuff later. We'll put a footer on. Okay, so this is just the foundation. Now, we haven't given it any style yet, right? Because this is just the HTML. Let's save it before it crashes and we have to retype all this again. Whoosh. You don't want to do that. So I'm going to save, file, save. Now we haven't given it any style. Again, this is just the HTML. It's like the tags, it's the body, it's, you know, the tags. If we looked at this and previewed it, it would just be text on the screen, kind of random. It wouldn't have any style. And if I look here, down here's the preview. Remember down here? Real-time preview. It's all the way down here at the bottom. I don't know. They kind of made this kind of crappy than Dreamweaver. It's this ugly thing right here. So if I click on it right here, it'll go and it says, where do you want to preview? And we can say Firefox, Safari, or Chrome. I'm going to say Firefox, and there you notice it's just text. There's no style to it. It's just text on the screen. There is a link to Yahoo. Remember, it's going to open a new window, right? If I click on it, let's go. Boom! Notice it opened a new tab. Opened a new tab. Okay, so again, that's what it looks like right now. Not too exciting, is it? Okay. So we need to give it some excitement. If your text didn't show up, maybe you have an error somewhere. Usually sometimes it tells you by putting a red in there. Didn't it like show up red or something when there was an error last time? I don't know. Okay, everybody got all their text on there? Ready to do the CSS? Anybody have a question? You ready to turn the page over? I'm going to turn my page over. Look at this. Here it goes. I'm excited. Excited. Turn my page over. Hopefully you're excited too. I'm excited. Okay, we don't type this in here though. This CSS goes over here where the style is. This one. Remember there's two files open. Do you see them? Both of them are open. You can jump back and forth between them. So again, we're not going to type up here. We want to keep that at the top. That tells it what character set that's like the keyboard. So we're going to go right down below there where it says, you don't have to put the CSS code with the colon there. You don't need that. We just put in the link there. So the first one right there is a link. So you remember we had an A tag? Remember the A tag in the HTML from the handout there? Well, this is going to change the A tag and give it some color. You notice it says color yellow, font size, 2 M's, whoosh, M. She's introducing you to an M already. So let's just put it in. Notice there's no space. So you hit A colon link, L-I-N-K, like that. And then there is a curly bracket, and I'm going to hit return after that. And then you put in color. That color like that is for the font color. That's not the background color, it's the font color. So she's going to make it yellow, like that. And I'm going to hit a semicolon at the end, like that. So make sure you have, again, for the coding, it's going to be, and I'd like the space here too. I like to put a space there. So we have color, colon, and then the color, as you can see there, and then a semicolon there. Do you see that at the very top? I like the space after here. There doesn't look like a space there in the handout, but I like a space there. You can put a space there. And next, we got font size. And notice there's a dash between font and size. And that's going to be a colon, and then there is a 2 M's. Whoosh, what is an M? M is a mysterious way of measuring things. Actually, M is very popular in web development in that it's a space of a lowercase m. Okay, notice there's 2. So the standard 1M is, I believe, 16 pixels. 1M is, I believe, equal to 16 pixels, I believe. So 2M will be 16 plus 16. What was that? 32? Uh-oh, somebody's calling me. Hold on. Hold on, it's my wife. See? Okay, I will come home and take you to the doctor, yeah. Okay. That's all right. That's fine. I'm in class. I'll call you later. Ciao. I have to take my wife to the doctor, sorry. I wouldn't answer normally. Okay, it's an emergency. But my wife is sick. Yeah. So I think 2M is, you know, I don't really teach web development anymore, so it's been like 5 years. I can't remember certain things. I think it's 16 pixels. Somebody maybe look it up. I don't know. The beauty of the M is that it's a ratio that you can change, and so it can grow and shrink according to the size of the screen as well. Ask the other teacher. How about that? Maybe she has a better explanation. Let's move on. Remember, it's after this one right here. After this one, I'm going to the next one. Next one's after the curly bracket here, this one. So next we're going to go to H-A hover. What is that hover there? H over, whatever you want to call it. That's when the person moves the cursor over top of the text. So this is for that Yahoo. Remember, there's a link in Yahoo? And so when the person rolls their mouse over, it's going to turn to blue. So when your cursor's over top of the Yahoo text, it'll turn blue. So if I type in color, colon, and type in blue, notice it's not a, oh no, it's, oh, I'm sorry, I jumped down. Background color, I'm sorry. Do you see it there? Background dash color. And FFFF is white, I believe. So it's going to go from yellow to white. Sorry, I jumped a little bit. Background. Now this is going to be behind the text. That's why it's background color. And then colon, space, and it's that number you see there, FFF, is white. Notice when I type in and it's going to be white. And what was the name of this numbering system? I think I told you that last time. What kind of number is that? Begin with an H. Hexadecimal, yes. It's referred to as a hexadecimal. What is a hexadecimal? Well, it's just a way the computer can count. You've heard of binary before, right? 0 and 1. Well, that's another way of counting. Then you've heard of decimal, right? Decimal 10. Hexadecimal is 16-based counting. That's why there's 10 digits and then 5 letters. A, B, C, D, E, F. Six letters. Okay? That's what, 16, I'm sorry. Yeah, 16. And it's 10 digits, 16 letters. If it's all F, it's white. And what is black? What do you guys think? 0, 0, 0. Yes, that's a girl that done it all. Okay, so let's put that in there. Don't forget your semicolon. Okay, so I'm going to jump down again. Next one. And we got, so that was H over, A link. A visited is the color when they come back. A colon V-I-S-T, visited. And that is the color when they come back. So when they leave the website and come back, it kind of indicates, hey, you've been there already. It makes it purple normally. In this case, they're making it blue. I usually like it to be purple. So I'm going to make mine purple. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to type in purple. Purple. Don't forget your semicolon. Oh, semicolon, not colon at the end there. So we got A visited. And then the last one here is active. A, that's when you push your cursor down on top of it. You don't really see A active very much because it happens so quickly when you're clicking. And this is a color, and it's going to turn the font color to pink. Don't forget your semicolon. And then we're going to jump on down there. So just like it's written there. Now the first one is the container. That is the big box that is around everything. Notice it starts with a pound sign. That pound sign is the way that you designate an ID. And of course the big container is the big box. So I'm going to type in container. Just like you spelled it before, it is case sensitive. So if you spelled something with big, remember we spelled the right box and left box with a big B? Do you remember that? So make sure when you're doing the CSS, you use the big B when you're doing that. This is case sensitive. So I have a container and the margin, M-A-R-G-I-N. What does that do? I think we talked about that last class. What did the margin auto do? Margin auto. Centers it on the browser, okay? Great, easy, cheap way of centering it. Cheap is the word. You don't have to designate sides or anything. You say margin auto, that'll put it in the center of the browser. It's very common to have your website in the center of the page, right? In the old days, we used to actually, most of the websites were on the left side because the monitors were small anyways, so you didn't really have all that space. But, you know, with modern browsers like this, you got big screens like that, everything's in the center. So again, margin auto puts it in the center. This designates how big the box is going to be. So if you see width, that's going to be, tell it how big the box is going to be. It's going to be 960. And make sure you don't put a space after that. PX is right after it. Then put a semicolon. Okay, so don't put a space between the number and the what does PX stand for? They're pixels. And then height. And then That's going to be 750 px, and then background color, and then that has some crazy number there. I don't know whatever color you want. You can, if you put a pound sign there, to give you the box up here. And how many colors are in this box? Did we talk about that? How many colors can I choose in this wonderful box here? This is 24-bit. 24-bit. How many colors is 24-bit? 16 million colors. So you have a combination of 16 million different choices here. Okay. When you're done choosing it, you just hit tab on the, or no, not tab. How about return? There we go. Return. And then put a semicolon there. I just chose any color there. So this makes a giant box. I made it kind of blue, and the background. You want to see it? Let's save and do a preview. Now when we go under File, Save, I'm going to go File, Save. I'm saving the CSS file, not the HTML file, the CSS file. If you want to save both of them at the same time, you do Save All. That'll save both of them. So if you have a whole bunch of tabs open, you've been working on a whole bunch of them, you want to save them all at the same time, you can use Save All. If you jump over here to Index right here, you can then preview. Don't try and preview from the CSS. If we come down here to try and preview from the CSS, it's not really going to work. Okay, so what you want to do is when you preview, you want to jump to Index here where it says Index, and let's preview from that. If I go down here to Real-Time Preview and Preview in Firefox there, you'll see I don't see anything. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. What did I spell wrong? Container. Oh, it takes a minute? How about if I try Chrome? There we go. That looks better in Chrome. I don't know. Let's avoid Firefox. So again, it's in the center. Remember, margin, auto, it's in the center. Notice if I make those windows smaller and bigger, it stays in the center. Do you see that? It stays in the center. Notice Yahoo's big. Remember, what did they say? It was going to be 32 pixels, right? That's pretty big, 32 pixels. And remember the visited and the hover? So when I roll over, see how it makes it white? That's the hover. And then when you click down, it goes to Yahoo. See that? But if you go back, you'll notice it's purple now because remember, it's visited. And the active one is when you click down. You don't really see it. Remember the pink? Yeah. Okay, so that is your preview so far. Again, CSS is here. HTML is here. So get to that point. I'll pause for a minute. Let me pause for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to continue after my container. You'll notice we have the header. This will be the top. Remember, the top is the box at the top is usually called the header. So again, an asterisk header, H-E-A-D-E-R, and then you put your round bracket in, and then notice it has the width of auto. Again, that we'll put it in the middle. Oh, colon, auto, semicolon, and then height is going to be 100 pixels. No space there. Semicolon. And then height. Background. It should be background color too. No? Why is it background? I thought it would be background color. Why are they making it 0 black? Should be background. I think it should be background dash color. No? Just like before? Yeah. It should be color, I would believe. And then let's make it a color. What color you want to... Now you can put words in there for common colors if you want. Or you can... I'm going to put pink in there because I like pink. How about that? There we go. And so that one is back... I think there should be background color. I don't know why she has it just background there. I'm going to put background color in there because I know that works. And I know... Oh, that's for the text maybe? I don't know why it's black there. I don't know what that's doing. Whatever, let's move on. Notice there's the one for the left box. That should be background color as well. I don't know why it's just background. Whatever. And so that's going to be left box with a capital B. Don't forget the capital B. And then so that's going to be background dash color. I'm going to do it like that because I know that works. And what color we want our back. She has a hexadecimal value of 747474. Sounds like an airplane. 747474. Well, that's like gray. Gray. Then she has float. What does float do? So Float is very important, very important. So let's talk about float for just a minute. Floating. 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 Okay, I'm erasing Jean's stuff. You better know her login by now because I erased it. So in this case, what if you want to have a box, and then you want to have another box next to that box, and then another box next to that box, like that. Box of content, box of content, box of content. Well, what float left does is it takes and puts, of course, to the left side. So if we tell this first box to be float left, it's going to be against the edge here. If I tell this box to be float left, what it'll do is it instead of being underneath here, what it does is it moves it up over here. So normally the code would be like this. If I put a box, 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 without doing any float, it would be stacked like this. But if I want the box to be this way, I would tell this to be float left, puts it on the left. I would tell this to be float left. What that does is it pushes it up next to it. It would be next to it. And I tell this to be float left, it would put it up next to that. You see that? So that's how you get things to go horizontally across the page. We'll do that with the font. Or not the font, I meant the menu bar. The menu bar. So you notice I have float left, semicolon there. And then you got a width, width, oops, colon, and it's 450 px. And then we have a height of 600. Oops, semicolon 600 px. And then whoosh, there's another one on there, a weird one there. It's called padding. What does padding do? Well, whenever we measure a box, let's say we have a box. Remember, it's a div. A div is a box. You can have space outside so that it's like space outside. That would be the margin, M-A-R-G-I-N. Then you can have space inside. The space inside a box is measured in, what did I just say? What's the next line? What's inside a box? Margin is on the outside. Padding, I'm sorry, padding, P-A-D-D-I-N-G. Padding is inside a box. So the one that, what does she have here? Does she have margin? No, that's padding. So there's padding is inside. So let's say you have a box and you don't want your text to be all the way to the edge of the box, right? We don't want our text to be right here, text to be right there. We want it to be a little bit inside so it's not on the edge. We put in padding of 10, it'll be 10 pixels from the edge. That's what that line is. It's right underneath there. The padding of 10 pixels. I think she has pixels, right? Yeah. So if you type in padding, P-A-D-D-I-N-G, like Paddington Bear, right? Anybody been to Paddington Station in London? No. I missed that station. I wanted to stop so I can see Paddington Bear. I wonder if they have stuff Paddington Bear. You could probably buy one there. Paddington, 10 pixels. What else is there? Color. That would be the color of the text that goes in the screen there. Color. That would be the color for the text. That would be black. 0, 0, 0. And then what else does she have down there? I'm running out of space here. Let me put some space down here. There we go. So we have left box with a capital B. Don't forget that. And then, oh gosh, there's a whole link to a font right there. And it should be font. I'm not going to do the font. I'm leaving the font default. I'm not going to type all that right now. Let's move on. I'm going to do right box because I'm running out of time here. Right box. Oops, don't forget that T. Right box. How about we do a different way of doing text? How about that? And then the background color there for the background color. I don't know what color that is. Well, I'm just going to choose one. How about we make it red? Okay, how about that? Don't forget the semicolon. And then float. That'll put it on the right side. Hence, float right. And then we have width. Oops, semicolon. 450 px. And then we have height. 600 px. And then we have padding. 10 pixels. And we have color. That would be the font color again. How about that? Oh, you just do a class for a button, didn't she? Did I put my class in a button? Look at that. I might have to jump back there. I'm not going to worry about color now. What do you think if I don't tell it what color to be? What do you think it'll be? Black. I'm going to leave it at that for right now. Okay, let me save this CSS for a minute. Oh, I was typing that in the HTML, wasn't I? Whoosh. No, I was typing that in CSS. Why is it? Box, left box. Let me save that. Let me jump back to the HTML. I think I made a mistake. Oh, why does my HTML have that? Did I type it in both places? Oh, source code. Oh, do you see that? There's a tab here now. Oh, that's because they're linked. Oh, be careful. It's a little confusing because I'm in the HTML and it still could jump back to the CSS. Do you see that? Silly. This Dreamweaver is a silly program. Look at that. Be careful what you wish for, okay? So in the index code, do you notice in the button here, it's called class. Do you see that right there where it says class in the HTML? So we need to designate that differently than the ID. See the ID? Remember when we were writing the CSS and we did the pound sign, right? Or the hashtag, the Twitter hashtag, right? That's for the ID, but you notice here in the HTML, there's a class right here. That class is actually a period. So to designate this one, if you jump back to the CSS, I'm going to jump back to the CSS right here. Do you notice the very last line there? It has a dot in the CSS. You notice there's a period, and it says button, like that. And then there's the round brackets. The reason why it's that, and then she has color. And then it's just designating the color of that font. And it should be yellow because we made it an anchor. I don't know why she's giving it another one. We can designate another color. How about we do it red? But notice the very last line here under CSS. It has a period instead of a hashtag. Do you see that? That's because it's class. Did you see class in the HTML? If you turn over to the HTML, you see where it says div class button. It's sort of towards the bottom there, where it says div class equals button. Do you see that? Okay, so to change or apply some style to a class, we put a period. That's why the very last line is a period. So try and get to that point. I'll save it and I'll preview mine. And then we have about 20 minutes to make some, I'll teach you a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's save all. I'm going to save all. And under my HTML here, under the, let's preview. See what it looks like. And it looks pretty ugly, doesn't it? I got purple going. I got gray. I got this one. Where's the blue coming from? The blue's coming from the background color of the container. Remember the container I made blue, right? And here's the Yahoo. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. So you try and get to something like that, and we'll move on. So get to that point, and we'll do the, remember we're going to do the iframe, right? We're going to put a video on there. We're going to put a map in there, right? You want to do a map? Google Maps. So get to that point, and we will then learn some Ways of putting content on our page. Ways of putting content on our page. I'm going to pause. Let's go to the internet and go to YouTube. YouTube. And then find your favorite video. Mine's going to be how to use Stud Finder. And let's find one of my videos. There we go. This one's one of mine from 7 years ago. Not very good, but whatever. So find a video that you love.
The Stud Sensor E50.
Okay, so we have a Stud Sensor E50 here.
Quickly and easily.
So in this case, find a video. You'll notice when you're on YouTube, you have a little bit of a button down here that says share. You see the button that says share down there? I'm going to click on that. Okay, so notice it has an address right here. This is the address to there, but you don't want to put just the address on there because it's not going to pull the video to your website. What we want to use to pull our video to our website is the iframe. To get to the iframe, you'll notice there's one that says embed here in the upper left corner. You see that? Click on the embed. Okay, so some things that you'll notice in the embed is it's going to give you this iframe code. You see it right there, and it has a width and a height. That's how big the video is. You can adjust that when you go to your HTML. You'll notice it has a link to the video. There's a frame border that's just a line that goes around. It says no line around my frame. It says accelerometer autoplay, which means it's going to automatically play when, I guess so. I don't know what that means. I don't know what a gyroscope is or picture in a picture. Allow full screen lets you be able to click on the video and expand it to the full screen. So I'm going to copy this code. You see where it says copy right here? Copy right there. Then I'm going to go back to my HTML, and I don't want to put this in the CSS. I want to put this in the HTML. So make sure you go to your HTML code, and we're going to put it in the right box. I'm going to put it after this P tag here, so it's underneath it. And I'm just going to paste. What's paste on the keyboard? Command V. So Command V. So put all that code in there. That's all you need to do. That video is now on my website. If I go and I save it, let's go and file save, and then preview my website, you should have a video. No, it doesn't fit in my window. You'll notice that. It doesn't. It goes over the edge. Why? Because it's bigger than the size of the window. Remember, we gave this a designated size, this right frame, and this is bigger than that. So how can I fix that? Well, I can measure the video in a percentage, and it'll squeeze it in there. Or I can designate how big is the box and make the video size the same size as the box, and we can go and do that as well. So to do that, I would go to my HTML, or no, go to my CSS. How big did we make the right box? Oh, what's it written down? It's written down there, isn't it? What is the right box? 450 width? So right here, the width of this iframe is 560 or 560 pixels here. So we want to make that. What is it? Oh, but there's a 10% padding. Do you see that? Whoosh! Boy, you're gonna have to learn that as well. And whenever you're measuring something, this is a very tricky part of CSS. Whenever you're measuring something, like if we put padding in here. In this case, if you look at the right box, we put 10 pixels padding in there, right? So I don't want to make the video 450 pixels across to make it fit in that box. I need the video to be actually 430 pixels across. Why am I taking 20 pixels off? Well, there's 10 pixels padding. The 10 pixels padding's on both sides. Both sides. So you actually need to take 20 pixels off the width. So for the video, if I make the video, I need to make the video, what did I just say? I had 430 pixels width. So right here where it says width for the iframe, see the width of the iframe there? Let's put in 4, what did I just say, 30. And then the height, this is a ratio, so we're probably going to have to take that down a little bit as well. Let's just guess and put in 250 in there. I'm just going to guess 250, 430. I don't know. I'm just putting a number in there just so it's not squished, because it will squish it. Let's save all and let's preview now. There we go. Oh, that still doesn't look quite right, but still didn't squeeze it right. But hey, it looks a little bit better than being all the way outside the box, right? Let's put a map on. If I get a video, you guys get a video? Put the video, all you have to do is copy and paste and put it in the right side. Don't put it in the CSS. Cut it and then X. X. And go to HTML. Let me finish putting the map and I'll come and help you. One more thing. Let me do a demonstration. No, just say where you go. I'll come by in a second. Let me show one more thing and I'm going to be done and then you guys can finish because we're going to leave in a couple minutes anyways. Last thing is I'm going to put a map under here. So see where the button for Yahoo is? I'm going to put a map there. I'm going to do the same thing. To do that, I'm going to go to the internet. Let's go to Google. I'm going to go to Google. And I'm going to go to the little dots in the upper corner here. See them? And I'm going to go to Maps. See where it says Maps? See the dots here? Maps. And I'm going to type in Yahoo, which is Yahoo headquarters there in slimy Sunnyvale there. There it is, Sunnyvale. So I'm going to put the Yahoo location there in Sunnyvale on my website. So I'm going to take this map and put it on my website the same exact way I did the video. To do that, you'll notice in Yahoo or in Google Maps, you should have where is the embed option? Usually it's over here. Did they get rid of it? Where is the embed option? Usually you can embed, save, share. It's right here. I'm sorry, share. Look at it right here. They moved it here. So there's the share button right here. So in Google Maps, you find a location and go to where it says share. And see where it says embed map. Do you see it here? Embed. So I clicked on share embed map. And there's your iframe. See the iframe right there? I'm going to copy the HTML. See it right here? Copy HTML. I'm going to go back to my HTML. And then in the left box area, right underneath the link. Remember, here's the link for the Yahoo. I'm going to hit return and I'm going to paste it in there. Don't even change it. Just paste it in there under the Yahoo text there. I'm going to save that. And then if I preview that, you should see the map now. Oosh. No, the map is too big too. I'd have to change the size of the map. See how the map's too big? You can go into the code and change the size of the map as well. Remember how we changed the size of the video? Right? So I would have to go and change. It says, what's the width? It's 600. Whoosh. That's not it. What's the width of the left box? 450, but we got to go a little smaller than that because it's with padding as well. Remember the padding? So let's make that 430 as well. And then let's save that. And then let's preview that. There we go. We got a map over here using the iframe, and we have a video over here using the iframe. So that's where I'm going to stop today. If you get to that point, I think you've done good for today. Whoosh.